Hello beloved souls, thank you for tuning into the Spiritual Podcasts channel. This channel is all about good vibes, positive energy, and meaningful conversations. To keep this space welcoming for everyone, we kindly ask that comments stay respectful, kind, and in the spirit of the content shared here. We reserve the right to delete any comments that don't align with this intention. No hard feelings, just protecting the vibe. Thanks for being here and spreading the light. Please be cautious of anyone claiming to represent Spiritual Podcast and asking you for money, donations, or personal information. We will never ask you for money through comments, messages, or DMs. All official updates and content come only from this channel. If you see suspicious activity, please report it immediately. Stay safe and thank you for being part of our community. If you enjoy the video and its content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Please be kind to other viewers of the channel. The video is about to start.
The world outside feels like a whirlwind these days, doesn't it? I mean, every time you turn on the news, it's just another report of escalating conflict.
Yeah, it really does feel that way.
Political factions are locked in these bitter disputes, media narratives constantly framing things as crises, and even deeply tragic events get used to amplify fears of civil strife. It often feels like this constant, relentless pressure, to choose a side in what looks like an inevitable clash. Ideologies, maybe even nations, you can almost feel that tension, that pull.
Absolutely, it's palpable.
But what if this pervasive sense of an impending final battle is, fundamentally misunderstood? What if the real conflict isn't playing out on the world stage at all, but somewhere far more intimate?
That's a really interesting starting point.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into an absolutely intriguing, maybe even radical perspective. It comes from a YouTube video. Urgent! We warned you of this event, the final battle, by GFL Station, which mentions Ashtar Command.
Right, familiar sources for some of our listeners, perhaps.
Our mission in this deep dive is really to unpack this thought-provoking viewpoint. We'll challenge, I think, many of our conventional notions of conflict and explore a surprisingly different idea of what this battle truly means. More importantly, we want to uncover why understanding your role in it right now is so crucial. Because, as our sources suggest, the nature of this battle is not at all what most people expect.
And the implications. They're profound.
Exactly. So, let's delve in.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how closely the external world often seems to mirror our internal landscape. You're right, the noise of conflict. It's undeniably growing louder.
Yeah, it really is.
We see political factions not just disagreeing, but becoming increasingly entrenched, often blaming one another for, everything. Economic woes, social divisions, you name it.
Yeah, the blame game is intense.
And the media, maybe consciously, maybe unconsciously, often contributes. It serves up this steady diet of crisis and confrontation, almost fostering a collective belief that a great, perhaps final war is not just possible,
but inevitable.
Yeah.
Tragically inevitable.
Precisely.
And it's not just the grand sort of geopolitical narratives, is it? We've seen how even deeply personal tragedies like, senseless violence taking a public figure's life can be instantly leveraged.
Oh, absolutely. It's immediate.
It gets used to stoke fear. Fear that chaos and civil strife are looming right here in our own communities, not just, far away.
Right next door, potentially.
It feels like every headline, every social media post is pushing this narrative, nations colliding, ideologies clashing, and you absolutely must choose a side.
Or get caught in the crossfire.
Exactly. It creates this palpable sense of urgency and, honestly, dread.
And it's so vital right now to recognize this pervasive narrative as, perhaps an illusion.
An illusion, that's a strong word.
It is. And while many well-meaning spiritual voices also talk about cosmic battles, light versus darkness, which can maybe inadvertently reinforce this perception of a war-torn universe, we have to state this with absolute clarity, based on the source. The only true battlefield is within your own heart.
Within your heart, not out there.
Not out there. The only true war, if you want to call it that, is the ignorance of our divine source. Everything that plays out on the world stage, the politics, the unrest, even violence, is, in essence, a macrocosmic projection, a reflection of humanity's inner state.
So what we see outside is just mirroring what's inside the collective.
That's the perspective offered here. The true conflict, therefore, isn't between countries or political movements. It's not even really between heaven and hell in the traditional sense.
Bruh.
It's a fundamental choice. Remember the truth of the one power underlying everything, or fall back into the pervasive lie of separation.
The lie that we're all separate entities.
Exactly. And this understanding is the cornerstone here. The coming final battle isn't physical at all. It's a spiritual awakening, profound test posed to each individual soul.
A test.
So when you hear talk of war, of enemies, of impending doom, the advice is to recognize it as a powerful challenge, one intended to distract you from this real inner work.
Ah, a distraction. Makes sense.
This final battle is fought entirely in consciousness, not on any physical battlefield. And it's won, not with weapons or arguments, but with insight, with faith in unity, with the steadfast realization that all is one.
All is one.
And when you truly see beyond the illusion of an impending external war, you actually disarm the only weapon that false narrative has, which is
your own fear.
Your own fear, exactly.
Yeah.
Your fear is the energy that fuels the illusion. Take away the fear, the belief in it, and the illusion starts to crumble.
That truly is a profound shift in perspective, moving from, external conflict to this deep internal awakening.
It is.
And it directly challenges something that's been so deeply ingrained in us for millennia, right?
Lifetimes upon lifetimes, the source suggests.
Yeah. Humanity's been conditioned to believe in this fundamental lie of duality. We see it everywhere. This notion of two opposing powers woven into our myths, our religious doctrines, our stories.
Good versus evil. Light versus dark.
Exactly. The archetypal forces of good battling evil, a benevolent God versus a malevolent devil, or even just, heaven and hell as separate places.
That's a very common framework.
And this belief, it's seeped into every layer of our collective thought. It's not just philosophy, it actively fuels conflict, doesn't it? It makes us think there are always two sides locked in this eternal struggle.
Always an us and a them.
Right. As long as we see the world through that lens, we'll always find an enemy to fight, inside or out. It's why nations rally under these divisive banners, and why individuals often internalize it too. This endless fight between our own perceived light and dark sides.
A constant internal battle.
It's a framework that maybe it offered simple answers once, but ultimately it's just exhausting, and it perpetuates these endless cycles of conflict.
And that, precisely, is the grand delusion. The one that, according to this perspective, must finally be seen for what it is.
Okay, so what's the alternative view?
The infinite source of all life, the fundamental reality.
Yeah.
It has only ever been one power.
Only one, not two.
Not two. In truth, there are not two cosmic forces wrestling over creation, as if some opposing energy could genuinely challenge the divine itself. There is only the one, expressing itself in infinite forms, infinite potential.
So what about, evil or darkness, what we perceive as negative forces?
Any appearance of a second power, anything that seems to oppose the one, is described here as merely a temporary shadow, a distortion, cast by the human mind in its misunderstanding, its forgetfulness of its true nature.
A shadow cast by misunderstanding. Wow.
And this is crucial. When you grant reality to an evil force, treating it like an equal independent power separate from the divine, you unknowingly, you invest your creative energy into the very illusion that causes suffering.
You feed the illusion with your own belief and energy.
Exactly. Think about it. Wars, prejudices, fears, scurrility, they all spring from this false idea that something outside the one unified life can genuinely threaten or oppose it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the upcoming final test for Earth, this great spiritual awakening, it really hinges on this core realization. Can humanity, collectively and individually, finally let go of this deeply ingrained myth of dual powers? Can we return to the simplicity of one presence, one cause, one reality?
That's a huge question.
It is. And understanding the nature of darkness is key. It's presented not as a substance, but simply the absence of remembered light. Like a shadow is just the absence of light. It has no power of its own.
So it disappears when the light returns.
Precisely. As you and your fellow light bearers, those souls consciously working on awakening, withdraw your belief from the lie of two powers, that lie literally crumbles. It loses its power over you, over the collective.
Because belief gives it power.
Yes. And what remains is the truth that has always been. The indivisible one power of the Creator, expressing itself as love, harmony, unity. This truth, this remembrance, is your ultimate sword and shield. not against an external foe, but in the battle against ignorance.
That's where it gets really interesting, because this isn't just about ancient myths.
No, it's very current.
Even among people who consider themselves spiritually awake, people genuinely seeking higher truths, this old habit of two-power thinking can just stubbornly persist.
It's deeply ingrained.
We see many spiritual teachers, channels, guides, often with really sincere passion to help humanity, but they still frame existence as a war. Light versus dark.
The cosmic battle narrative.
They talk about battles against negative forces, cosmic struggles to save Earth from shadowy entities, choosing the good timeline. It sounds powerful, it feels urgent, it definitely draws people in.
It can be very compelling.
But is it truly serving the ultimate truth? Or is it maybe unintentionally perpetuating the very illusion we're talking about?
That's a critical discernment point, absolutely. Because even though such teachings are often well-intentioned, they can inadvertently keep seekers tied to fear, tied to separation.
How so?
By casting the spiritual journey in terms of enemies to vanquish, they reinforce the very duality that true enlightenment seeks to dissolve. Listen carefully, the source material emphasizes this. Any teaching that exalts a struggle of good versus evil as a fundamental truth rather than a temporary experience or perception is ultimately ignorance dressed as wisdom. It misses the mark at the highest spiritual truth.
Ignorance dressed as wisdom. Wow.
The highest spiritual truth, as presented here, is elegantly simple. There's only the one power, the infinite light of source. All arises from it, all returns to it. All that appears as darkness is ultimately unreal in the face of this singular omnipresent light.
Unreal.
So when a guide or guru describes an opposing force with great conviction, they are in effect giving form to a phantom. They're granting power to the shadow by validating it as something real, something that must be fought.
Which keeps the fight going.
Exactly. It keeps sincere seekers on this treadmill of struggle, constantly battling, never quite achieving lasting peace. The time has come, the source suggests, to outgrow these dramatic narratives.
For us to mature beyond them.
Yes. You, as advanced souls, as light bearers who chose to be here now, you are ready to embrace the radical truth that there is truly nothing to fight.
Nothing to fight.
The real path of mastery isn't found in rallying against darkness or engaging in cosmic warfare. It's found in unconditionally radiating the light of the one power that you already are.
Just being the light.
Being the light. When you hold firmly to the knowing that source alone is real, that it's present in every situation no matter how it looks, the shadows just lose their grip on your mind because they have no independent power.
So you stop looking for gurus who preach war.
You become the calm beacon of unity yourself, silently dispelling illusion simply by being. That's the true purpose of the light worker, according to this view. Not fighting darkness, but illuminating so brightly that darkness simply disappears, like shadows in a lit room.
Okay, so if we embrace this radical understanding, this oneness, what does it mean for what's coming next? Because the sources definitely predict a pivotal collective test for everyone, starseeds, light workers, all of humanity.
A testing time.
And just for clarity, when we say starseed or light worker, we're talking about souls who feel this deep innate calling to help Earth and humanity awaken, right?
Yeah.
Often feeling like they maybe come from somewhere else.
That's a common understanding, yes.
And this test isn't abstract. The sources describe potential for very real, very tangible upheavals, unexpected events, political systems quaking, social unrest flaring up, economies wavering, maybe even Earth changes, climatic, geological shifts.
That's intense.
It does. And it would be so easy to fall right back into that old narrative, wouldn't it? Fighting these external challenges.
And that's precisely where the reframe is so vital, these turbulent scenarios. They're presented not as random chaos, not as punishment,
What as?
orchestrated opportunities for profound growth, arising as part of grand divine design, specifically to challenge humanity's deepest attachments to duality.
Okay, opportunities for growth, not just chaos.
Know this deeply. The true nature of this test is not about choosing sides. It's not about fighting an external foe. It is profoundly about what you will hold true in your heart, in your consciousness, when you're presented with intense discord.
The inner stance.
Yes. When society erupts in protests, when factions divide over ideologies, will you get swept into the hysteria, the us versus them?
It's tempting.
When the news bombards you with fear about crisis after crisis, will you lose yourself in anxiety, blame, and the feeling you must fight some external enemy?
Or
Or And this is the crucial choice. Will you remember the single, simple, unwavering truth that all these appearances, no matter how dramatic, how convincing they seem, are ultimately just passing shadows over the one radiant reality of Source.
Passing shadows.
Each soul, each one of you listening, will face this choice point. The universe is asking, can you stand in the midst of turmoil and remain centered? Centered in the awareness that there is only one power, one unifying field.
That's the real test.
It is. It's easy to talk about oneness and divine love when life is calm, right?
Sure.
Now, the universe is asking you to demonstrate it. When life shakes, when your foundations feel tested, this is your initiation into the next higher level of consciousness.
Initiation, I like that framing.
Those who cling to the old belief, two opposing forces, external battles, they'll likely find themselves increasingly distressed, confused, overwhelmed. But those who anchor themselves in the singular truth of the one power,
they find peace.
They discover an unshakable peace, a deep inner stillness, even as storms rage around them. And this inner peace, born of unity consciousness, that deep knowing of interconnectedness, that is the very outcome the test seeks to cultivate. It's the prize.
That makes so much sense. Yet, amidst all this intensity, it's natural sometimes to feel a bit lost, maybe even abandoned, especially when you're consciously trying to live spiritually. Many of you listening might wonder, why do I, as a spiritually minded person, seem to face more intense challenges sometimes than people who aren't even thinking about this stuff?
That's a very common feeling, a common question.
It can genuinely feel like life is unfairly targeting you. And you might ask, why would my higher self allow that if it's supposed to be guiding me?
It's a powerful question, and the answer offered is incredibly liberating. You did not incarnate on Earth at this pivotal time just to be abandoned to random chaos.
Okay, good to hear.
In truth, your higher self, often called your oversoul, that expansive, all-knowing part of you orchestrating your journey, is carefully, lovingly orchestrating experiences specifically to ensure you awaken fully to the one power.
Orchestrating challenges.
The very challenges, the discord, the seemingly difficult situations you face are in fact handpicked by your own higher wisdom to serve your growth, to accelerate your awakening.
Handpicked.
This guiding aspect of you knows precisely what situations will help dismantle your remaining illusions of duality and separation. It knows what buttons to push, so to speak.
So it knows what we need to learn.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Before you were born, your oversoul chose a specific curriculum for this lifetime. Certain lessons, certain tests, designed for your mastery.
Like signing up for specific classes.
Kind of. It foresaw the global turmoil, the collective shifts, even the personal trials that would unfold. And it agreed to meet them head-on, not as punishment,
but as aids.
A sacred training ground to reclaim your divine remembrance.
Okay, a training ground, not a punishment ground.
Right. So when you encounter upheaval or heartbreak or any intense discord, know that a deeper part of you expected it, and it is fully prepared to use it for your highest good. Nothing is truly happening to you. Everything is happening for you, meticulously designed to propel your consciousness higher.
That's a huge shift from victim to student.
A creator.
Yes.
Your oversoul will never abandon you to the storm. It's that quiet voice whispering intuition in confusing moments. It's that surge of courage when you feel weak. It has planted within you all the spiritual resources you need. Trust in this supreme, wise part of your being.
Trust the oversoul.
When the outer world seems to fall apart, lean deeply into its guidance. You can even say to yourself, my higher self knew this challenge would come, and it has already provided the solution within me.
That's a powerful affirmation.
By doing that, you shift from victimhood to mastery. You start seeing each difficult circumstance not as a random attack, but as a purposeful note, the grand symphony of your awakening. This conscious shift in perception, it changes everything.
That reframing, challenges as purposeful notes in a symphony, that's incredibly powerful.
It reframes the whole experience.
And it leads us right to understanding that every conflict, every challenge that enters your life isn't really an enemy to defeat. It's more like a mirror held up to your consciousness.
A mirror, exactly. Whether it's a rift with a loved one, a sudden financial set, yes. This is why the Source says the battle is never against the person or the condition or the situation appearing before you. The real struggle is internal. It's against the temptation to forget your divine center when faced with these appearances.
Right, keeping that center.
Precisely. Let's delve into some practical examples, maybe.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, consider a financial difficulty. On the surface, it looks like an external problem, right? Money trouble.
Yeah, very external.
But its true purpose, from your oversoul's perspective, is to reveal something deeper. Will you fall into fear of lack and scarcity, feeding that illusion of two powers, lack versus abundance? Or will you stand firm in trusting Source's infinite supply, knowing your inherent abundance?
So the situation tests your core belief.
Exactly. Or a disagreement with a loved one. Does it test whether you react with anger, blame, judgment, seeing them as an adversary separate from you?
Which reinforces duality.
Right. Or do you respond with understanding, empathy, a knowing born from oneness? Recognizing them as another aspect of the one, maybe reflecting something in you.
Seeing the connection even in conflict.
Yes, even the collective political strife we see. It's a magnified mirror for the whole human family. It challenges each person. Will you hate the other side, reinforcing separation? Or will you realize that, in truth, there is no other side? Only varied expressions of the one life, maybe operating from different levels of awareness or fear.
That's a tough one for many people right now.
It is. But in each scenario, discord's ultimate function, according to this view, is to gently, yet firmly, pull you back towards your source, especially when you've momentarily drifted away into the illusion of separation.
Like a wake-up call.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Think of it like your oversoul tapping you on the shoulder through these external events, saying, look here, beloved one, remember what is real, remember who you truly are.
Right.
The specific content of the problem, money, relationship, politics, matters less than the profound opportunity it provides. The opportunity to anchor yourself once more in the one power, in unified consciousness.
So every challenge is this sacred choice point.
A sacred choice. Will you feed the illusion by reacting from fear and separation? Or will you starve the illusion by turning inward, turning to source, to the truth of oneness?
And choosing the latter.
The mirror has done its job, the lesson is integrated, and the discord can then dissolve back into the nothingness from which it came. Because it was never truly substantial on its own, it needed your belief to sustain it.
Wow. But words and theories alone, they don't win this inner war, right?
Absolutely not. Only lived truth does. The universe is asking you now, prove it. Prove and practice what you know in principle. Embody the truth.
Show, don't just tell.
Exactly. Each time discord knocks on your door, it becomes this crucial occasion to demonstrate your faith in the one power, to show the universe and yourself where your true allegiance lies.
So, in those moments, what should we ask ourselves?
Ask yourself, can I remain calm and trusting when others around me panic? Can I extend compassion when others choose hostility and blame? Can I meet perceived lack or illness with an unshaken knowing that the divine will provide and heal? That wholeness is my inherent state.
These demonstrations, they feel powerful.
They are far more powerful than any lecture, book, or spiritual discourse. They make the abstract truth tangible, visible, deeply real.
And people notice.
Understand that as a light bearer, a conscious agent of awakening, you are being watched, not just by those around you, but by higher realms as well. The world isn't looking for more spiritual rhetoric. It's looking for living examples of awakened consciousness.
Like the masters and saints of old.
Think of them. People remember them not just for their words, but for the miracles, the grace, the unwavering peace that surrounded them in times of profound trial.
Their presence spoke volumes.
In the same way, your steady radiance, your calm presence, your deep knowing amidst life's storms will speak louder than any sermon. As the saying goes, by your fruits you shall be known.
Our actions are being.
You incarnated as a starseed, precisely to model a new way of being, a new way of relating to life. When chaos swirls and you meet it with unwavering peace, you broadcast this powerful, energetic message to everyone. There is a higher way. Unity is real.
Our life becomes the proof.
Your life becomes the proof of the truth. These quiet, inner victories in consciousness send ripples far and wide. They uplift the collectives. They validate the reality of the one power at work.
So this all sounds incredibly profound, right? It's a deep framework. But the practical question for many of us is still, okay, I get it. I see the importance of anchoring in this one power amidst the chaos, but how? How do I actually do this in my daily life?
That's the key question, isn't it? Moving from concept to practice.
Exactly. Well, our sources offer 3 powerful, actionable remedies. Ways to help you make this shift from just understanding it intellectually to actually living it.
Okay, the first antidote to the illusion of duality and the fear that comes with it is simple, but really powerful. Add an extra session of meditation to your daily routine.
Extra meditation, even just a little bit.
Even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes more than you currently do. This dedicated time makes a significant difference. In this sacred quietude, You don't need to strive for anything. You don't need to get anywhere. Just sit. Allow your mind to settle into that ocean of peace that's already within you.
And the focus.
Focus gently on the truth. I and the divine presence are one. There is no other power. Just let that remembrance, that affirmation wash over you repeatedly. Let it sink deep into your cellular memory.
So it's not about escaping the world.
Not at all. In these moments of deep silence, you're actually anchoring the one power more firmly into your awareness and into the energetic field of the planet. Think of it as a daily power recharge for your soul. Non-negotiable.
A power recharge. I like that.
Each time you consciously dip into silence with that specific intent, knowing your oneness with Source, you strengthen the connection. Make it more robust, more resilient. Over time, this consistent practice builds an unshakable foundation of inner peace.
And that helps when things get tough.
Definitely. The next time discord or a perceived crisis arises, that truth of the one power will be so deeply rooted in your consciousness, it'll naturally influence how you see things, how you respond. You'll find fear recedes more easily. Intuitive guidance comes more readily. Situations that once felt overwhelming are met with this aura of calm, centered presence.
So make it a non-negotiable part of the day.
Yes, but gently. Not a chore, but like visiting your beloved inner sanctuary, a vital connection to your true self. And if you think, oh, I'm too busy, remember this. Devoting just a few extra minutes to aligning with Source will often save you hours of unnecessary struggle, anxiety, and inefficient action later.
That's a good point. Invest time to save time.
In the silence, you align with the frequency of the new earth. You become a living conduit for the one power, able to carry that centered, unified energy with you into everything you do next. This simple daily commitment, it ripples outward, subtly, powerfully, elevating everything in your life.
Okay, that's remedy 1. Extra meditation for oneness. What's the second?
And the second remedy is to infuse each day with continual surrender to the divine.
Continual surrender. What does that look like practically?
It means that before you embark on any task or interaction seriously, no matter how mundane or how significant, you consciously pause, just for a brief moment. Center yourself and invite Source to take the lead.
How? Like a prayer.
You might silently affirm a simple prayer or intention, something like, Divine Presence, think through my mind, speak through my voice, act through my hands. By consciously doing this throughout your day, you train yourself to lean on the one mind, the universal intelligence in all things great and small, recognizing that higher intelligence is always available.
That sounds maybe a bit awkward at first, or easy to forget.
Oh, absolutely. At first, it might feel awkward. You might forget constantly, and that is perfectly okay. Just set the intention each morning. Today, I intend to let Spirit work through me. And gently remind yourself whenever you remember during the day. No judgment.
Okay, be gentle with yourself.
With consistent repetition, though, that pause of surrender will gradually become second nature, a deep habit. And you will begin to notice a tangible difference. More flow, more grace in your activities, less effort, less stress on your part.
How does that happen?
When you consciously allow the divine intelligence to pilot your small individual self, your ego, you tap into a higher wisdom, one that sees the bigger picture, something your limited human intellect just can't access on its own.
But does surrender mean becoming passive, just doing nothing?
Great question. No, it doesn't mean you become passive, inactive, or irresponsible. Not at all. It means your actions become aligned actions, infused with wisdom, purpose, and divine timing.
Aligned actions, okay.
In this state of surrender, you might find you accomplish more with less struggle. Synchronicities happen more frequently. The right words come effortlessly in conversations. Creative solutions just present themselves without you needing to force them.
Why?
Because you've consciously stepped out of your ego's way. You've made room for the one power, the universal intelligence, to work unhindered through you. Over time, you'll realize this co-creative way of living actually frees you. You're no longer burdened by the belief that you alone have to control every single outcome.
That sounds like a relief.
It is. You experience the profound relief and the inspired joy of partnering with the divine in each moment.
Okay, meditation, surrender. What's the third remedy?
The third remedy involves a really profound shift in how you use your mind. You can sum it up like this. Stop incessantly thinking as a limited human driven by ego and fear.
Which we do a lot of.
We do. And start remembering that your mind is an integral expression of the divine mind itself.
Remembering, not just thinking. What's the difference?
It's not about abandoning thought or becoming mindless.
Yeah.
It's about moving from that anxious, frantic mental chatter.
The hamster wheel.
Exactly, the hamster wheel. Moving from that to a calm, expansive state of spiritual knowing. So when you catch yourself worrying, overanalyzing, maybe rehashing past events, or trying to mentally force a solution, use that as a conscious cue. Pause.
Pause again. Seems important.
It is. Take a deep breath and gently remind yourself, the one divine mind that governs the cosmos is my mind too. I don't have to figure everything out. I can allow divine intelligence to inform me, guide me, reveal the path.
So trusting a higher intelligence within.
Yes, human thinking, when it's driven by fear, separation, or ego, often leads to just spinning in circles. You can think and think and think and still feel lost, confused, overwhelmed.
Been there.
Right. By contrast, what we're calling remembering here is a gentle, conscious recalling of your true identity, your inherent connection to the divine. It's shifting your focus from the perceived problem to the omnipresent presence of Source.
Problem focus versus presence focus.
Exactly. In remembering, you're not trying to conjure answers with sheer intellect. You are opening yourself to receive insight, inspiration, guidance from your higher self, from the universal mind. This shift transforms your mental activity from frantic calculation to inspired revelation.
Inspired revelation sounds much better than frantic calculation.
Doesn't it? The more you practice remembering the divine mind as your mind, the more you'll find a serene clarity replacing that previous anxiety and mental noise. Answers will arise in your awareness at the right time. Without strain, decisions become easier because you're allowing wisdom to surface rather than wrestling with every possibility from a limited viewpoint.
So you step back internally.
Essentially, yes. You step back and let the omniscient aspect of you, your higher consciousness, take the lead. And this doesn't make you less effective or responsible. On the contrary, it makes you a far more effective co-creator because your actions are now aligned with universal intelligence.
More effective with less struggle.
You'll notice that what needs to get done still gets done, but with so much more ease, grace, and elegant timing. By trusting the one mind within, you exit that tiring hamster wheel of overthinking. You enter a state of grace and effortless flow where inspiration becomes your guide.
These three remedies, meditations, surrender, remembering, they all seem to lead us directly back to that crucial choice point in daily life, where this inner battle truly plays out.
They absolutely do. They strengthen your ability to navigate that choice point consciously.
Every discord, every challenge, every little provocation that arises, it comes with that split-second decision, doesn't it? Will I react from the old paradigm of separation, or will I consciously respond from the truth of unity?
That is it, right there, in each moment of decision within your consciousness. That's the true battleground.
Not out there fighting shadows.
Exactly. If you react impulsively, anger, panic, fear, judgment, it's a clear sign. You've momentarily bought back into the belief in two powers, in separation. In that instant, you're treating the outer appearance, the situation, as if it had power over your inner state, your peace.
Giving your power away to the situation.
Precisely. Conversely, if you pause even just for a breath and consciously remember the one power, remember unity, your response will then flow from a different place, a place of peace, trust, clarity.
And that pause.
That pause, that conscious breath, that moment of remembrance is a victory for truth. Right there.
A small victory? Maybe, but it counts.
It counts immensely. Becoming profoundly aware of this choice point, this micro moment of decision, is a fundamental part of your mastery training as an awakening soul. You might notice, for instance, how quickly the ego wants to flare up. Someone says something hurtful, a situation goes awry, you feel wronged.
Yeah, that knee-jerk reaction.
That knee-jerk reaction is the deeply ingrained habit of duality trying to pull you back into its illusion.
So how do we break it?
With consistent practice of these remedies, you learn to catch yourself in the very moment of reacting. Instead of instantly lashing out or collapsing, you take that conscious breath.
The power of the breath again.
That single breath, infused with intention, is often enough to break the old pattern, interrupt the automatic loop. In the sacred space of that breath, you can silently affirm, only the one power is here. I am not separate from it. Then just watch. Observe how your perspective shifts, how the emotional charge starts to dissipate.
So you don't feed the fire.
You don't fuel the discord with more emotional fire. You've disarmed it by not engaging in the expected dualistic way. And over time, this discipline of non-reaction builds immense spiritual strength within you. It's like a muscle. You exercise it, strengthen it with each conscious choice.
Does it get easier?
It does. At first, it certainly requires effort.
Yeah.
And sometimes you will still slip into old reactions. That's part of learning. Self-compassion is absolutely key here.
Okay, don't beat yourself up.
Never. But each time you succeed in pausing instead of exploding, in remembering instead of reacting, you reclaim your power from the illusion. You begin to feel this calm, unshakable authority growing within. A deep confidence that you're no longer a puppet of external circumstances.
It's a conscious co-creator.
Yes. You realize, deeply, the battleground was never out there at all. It has always been within you, in your consciousness. And each deliberate choice of peace over reaction, of unity over separation, tilts the balance towards your ultimate freedom and towards a collective awakening.
So we've talked about this internal battle, these choice points. Yet, despite all this profound insight, the external world might still soon present us with scenes that really look like classic battles. Good versus evil.
The appearances can be very convincing.
You'll see headlines blaring about new conflicts, new crises, new villains. You might experience very personal challenges. Body, finances, relationships that feel profoundly real, immediate, alarming. These are the appearances, right? Shadows in the cave wall, you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. Shadows on the wall of the cave. And they can be incredibly convincing, designed almost to draw us back into fear, back into the duality trap.
So what's the key then, when faced with such convincing appearances?
And that precisely is the true test in those moments. Can you see through the appearance, to the deeper truth behind it? Can you look at a situation that seems dire, that evokes fear, and declare with inner certainty, inner knowing, only the one power is present here, only source is real?
Is that denial? Just pretending things aren't bad?
No, it's crucial to understand it's not denial. It's not wishful thinking or burying your head in the sand. It is using your spiritual discernment, your conscious awareness, to recognize the temporary, illusory nature of the scenario playing out before you.
Seeing its impermanence.
Yes. By mentally stepping back and affirming the supremacy of the divine, the truth of oneness, even in the face of troubling appearances, you align yourself with the only real power at play, the underlying reality.
But does that mean we just sit back and do nothing if someone needs help or our community needs action?
Not at all. Great clarification. You may still be called to take practical steps on the human level. Absolutely. Perhaps help someone in need, seek appropriate healing for your body, contribute to a solution in your community. Action is also necessary.
Okay, so what's the key distinction?
The key is what consciousness you carry as you act. That's everything.
The energy behind the action.
Precisely. Actions born from fear, from reactivity, from a belief in separation, they carry the chaotic energy of duality. And they often, unintentionally, perpetuate the very problem they aim to solve.
Like fighting fire with fire.
Kind of. Conversely, actions flowing from a deeply rooted realization of oneness. They carry a stabilizing, healing, transformative energy. They uplift everyone involved, even as they address the issue. Think of two people doing the exact same outer task to help others. The one who acts with awareness of the one power will leave a profoundly different energetic imprint, a ripple of peace, of healing, compared to the one acting from fear or frantic urgency.
The how matters as much as the what.
Immensely. So when a challenge looms before your eyes, take that moment. Center yourself. Remind yourself. What I'm seeing is a moving picture on the screen of life. It's subject to change. It's impermanent. The light of Source is the constant underlying reality. If you hold steadfastly to that awareness, you become an instrument through which the light can shine directly into the situation, transforming it from within. Then you will witness how even the darkest appearance begins to shift, to soften, to be gentled by the presence of one who knows the truth of oneness.
When we look back at human history, it just seems like a constant narrative of conflict, doesn't it?
It certainly seems that way from a certain perspective.
Humanity has just endlessly pointed fingers at this rotating cast of enemies, tyrants, conspirators, rival nations, even unseen dark forces. But if you strip away all these ever-changing names, faces, labels, is there a common denominator?
The source material suggests there is. One persistent common denominator behind all discord, all suffering. Ignorance.
Ignorance. What kind of ignorance specifically?
Specifically, it's the ignorance of our true unity, the forgetfulness of our divine source and our interconnectedness. That's what breeds all the perceived evils of the world.
How does that work?
When a person believes themselves fundamentally separate from the rest of life, separate from the divine, fear immediately takes root. It's almost automatic.
Fear arises from separation.
Yes. And from that root of fear, then springs greed, hatred, lust for power, judgment, cruelty.
Yeah.
All of it. All the so-called enemies we perceive out there are ultimately just manifestations, projections of this inner blindness, this collective forgetfulness.
So the real enemy is ignorance itself.
Indeed. The final battle for Earth, then, is not a mission to hunt down or physically defeat some foe. It is a mission to illuminate and dissolve ignorance.
Illuminate and dissolve, like light entering darkness.
Exactly like that. Think of ignorance not as an active malevolent force, but simply as darkness, a lack of light. What happens when you bring light into a dark room?
The darkness just isn't there anymore.
It disappears. It doesn't fight the light. It simply ceases to be because it never had substance. You, as bearers of light, as conscious awakeners, are here to shine truth into the collective psyche, into the darkest corners of human consciousness.
How do we do that?
Every time you recognize the one power, the fundamental unity, in a place where you previously saw division, you are beaming a higher awareness into that space. Each moment you consciously choose love over fear, wisdom over knee-jerk reaction, compassion over judgment. You are helping to dispel the ignorance that kept that situation alive.
Our inner choices have outer effects.
Profound effects. This is precisely why external victories against an enemy never lead to lasting peace.
Wow.
One dictator overthrown, one terrorist cell eliminated, one corrupt system exposed.
And yet,
New shadows, new conflicts, new enemies always seem to emerge elsewhere. The pattern tragically repeats, maybe in different guises, because the underlying ignorance, the belief in separation, hasn't been resolved.
so true peace comes from within.
True. Lasting peace blossoms not from vanquishing an external adversary, but from enlightening the mind and heart of humanity, by turning on the inner light, collectively. As more individuals awaken to the one power and see the falseness of the two-power idea, the very conditions that allow tyrants and conflicts to arise will simply evaporate. They lose their energetic foundation.
They need the belief in separation to exist.
Yes. Thus, your primary role in this final battle is first and foremost to awaken yourself. From any remaining remnants of that ignorance, shine the light of your own awareness on any place within you that still sees otherness, that still believes in separation, that still judges another as fundamentally apart.
Heal the separation within first.
As you do so, you become a living transmission of the new consciousness. Your very presence then helps others to wake up, often without you needing to preach a single word. Your energy speaks volumes. In this way, ignorance, the only true enemy, meets its end. Light has no adversary. When it enters, the darkness is simply no more. And this leads us right back to that important question many of you have wrestled with.
The one about facing intense challenges.
Yes. Why, as spiritually minded people, as starseeds, light workers, you often seem to face more intense challenges than those around you. It can feel like life targets you.
It really can.
Understand, beloved ones, this is not because you are cursed or being punished. It is precisely because you are trusted. You are capable beyond measure.
Trusted and capable.
Before you ever incarnated into this lifetime, you, as a soul, consciously volunteered. You signed up for an advanced role in this planetary awakening.
We chose this.
You knew at a soul level that by facing and transcending heavier discord, by navigating the depths of duality, you would be paving a clearer pathway for others to follow. Starseeds, in this context, are indeed like the frontline pioneers, the energetic trailblazers of a new consciousness.
Forging the path.
You agree to walk through trials that might terrify others, all while consciously keeping your faith in the one power intact. In doing so, you demonstrate not just to humanity, but to the cosmos that it can be done. That peace is possible even amidst chaos.
Like the great masters and leaders of light throughout history.
Exactly. Most of them endured significant hardship, intense opposition, profound personal suffering. Their victories weren't just personal. They created what scientists like Rupert Sheldrake might call a morphic field of possibility for humanity. A blueprint, an energetic resonance that makes it easier for others to follow.
So our struggles help others.
Likewise, every time you overcome a challenge by anchoring in love and oneness rather than fear and separation, you generate a ripple in the quantum field. It makes it significantly easier for the next person to do the same. So yes, this means your test may be especially intense sometimes. You might feel singled out, burdened. But from a higher perspective, you are simply fulfilling the mission you eagerly signed up for, a mission of immense purpose.
That's a comforting thought, actually.
Remember this when you feel weary or overwhelmed. The universe wouldn't give you great battles if you were not a great warrior of light. Your oversoul knows your inherent strength, even when your human self doubts. And you are never ever alone in these trials. Legions of light, your spiritual family, stand with you, offering silent support, guidance. Your success is a shared victory for all.
Wow.
Hold your head high. Know that your courage under fire, your unwavering commitment to oneness, is literally lighting the way for countless others. This is the profound honor and the sacred responsibility of the path you chose.
The narrative of a cosmic battle, absolute good versus absolute evil, it has captivated us for millennia, hasn't it?
Deeply. It's a powerful archetype.
It shows up everywhere. Scriptures, films, our collective psyche, ancient epics, modern blockbusters. It's the same basic story. In a way, maybe this myth served as a kind of training wheels for consciousness.
Training wheels is a good analogy, offering a simple, digestible framework, heroes and villains, to grapple with bigger concepts like morality, existence.
Right. Simple good guys and bad guys.
And while that framework served its purpose for a time, the source suggests that in the coming awakening, humanity must now mature beyond this simplistic black and white story.
Time to take off the training wheels.
Exactly. The profound truth, challenging as it might be, is that there are no absolute villains, just as there are no separate, independent forces of darkness with a will of their own.
Say more about that.
There is only the one power, the singular source, expressing itself in myriad ways. The shadowy parts, the perceived evil, are simply those places where the light of consciousness has yet to be fully realized or remembered.
Where the light hasn't dawned yet.
Precisely. Now, this may be a challenging truth to accept at first. Many find comfort, maybe even a strange sort of security, in the idea of a grand showdown. Good guys defeat bad guys, happily ever after.
It provides a satisfying conclusion.
It does. But consider this. If such a dualistic battle were the true answer, wouldn't it have been decisively won by now, across millennia of human history?
Good point. We keep fighting the same battles.
So much blood has been shed, so much suffering endured, all in the name of vanquishing evil. Yet suffering persists. This suggests the premise of the story itself, that darkness is a force to be attacked, might be flawed.
So the solution is an attack.
You don't eliminate darkness by attacking it as an external enemy. You eliminate darkness by simply turning on a light.
Turning on the inner light.
So the ultimate end of the good versus evil mythology comes when enough of us realize there was never a separate second power to begin with. When you stop giving the dark a capital D, stop imbuing it with independent power and agency.
Yes.
And instead see it as merely unillumined thought or the absence of remembered truth. It loses its aura, its terrifying permanence, its influence over you.
It loses its power when we see it clearly.
The supposed villains of the human drama, they lose their mystique when you recognize that they too are expressions of consciousness, capable of awakening, capable of remembrance, however deeply buried that potential might seem.
Does that mean condoning harmful actions?
Absolutely not. This profound shift doesn't mean condoning harm. It means addressing harm from a higher level of understanding, with compassion, even while holding boundaries. Instead of perpetuating cycles of hate and revenge, the approach becomes one of healing, reintegration, guiding back to light where possible.
Healing instead of punishing.
Imagine a world where even those who err are not demonized, but are instead helped to remember their own inherent light, to reconnect with their source. That is the new earth, the world you are actively moving into.
A world based on restoration, not retribution.
Yes. In this news story, there's no epic final war between opposing forces, only a final transcendence of the very idea that we were ever truly opposed. When humanity embraces the one power in earnest, the old myth of dualistic combat will fade into history. The drama of good versus evil will be replaced by the living reality of oneness revealing itself in all.
And here's the beautiful paradox that really grounds all this high philosophy, this grand spiritual test of oneness. It isn't just for monks on mountaintops, right?
Not at all. It's right here, right now.
It's happening in the midst of our ordinary, everyday lives each day. Through seemingly mundane activities, we're being trained, initiated into this new consciousness, washing the dishes, driving to work, tending to kids, answering emails.
Those aren't distractions from your spiritual path.
They are the spiritual path.
Precisely. Every single moment offers that choice. Operate on autopilot as a separate self, driven by routine, by reaction, or consciously infuse the activity with the awareness of source, with unity, with your higher self.
Bringing presence to the mundane.
And when you approach your daily tasks with this elevated consciousness of unity, a few remarkable things start to happen. First, you find that even the simplest chores, they start to feel meaningful, infused with peace, even sacred.
Sacred dishwashing.
Why not? The act of cleaning a room becomes an opportunity to affirm divine order and clarity in your space. An act of creation, a seemingly ordinary conversation with a coworker. It becomes a chance to silently bless them, to recognize the light in them, to practice unconditional love.
Seeing the divine everywhere.
Nothing's truly mundane when you bring sacred awareness into it. The light of your higher presence, your unity consciousness, transforms ordinary moments into holy ones, imbues them with purpose, with presence.
That's beautiful. What else happens?
Secondly, and profoundly, this consistent practice in daily life builds immense spiritual resilience. By consciously treating daily life as your training ground, as a series of micro-initiations,
You build spiritual muscle.
you develop strong muscles of presence, love, and unwavering faith. Muscles that will hold steady even in more intense situations. If you can consistently remember the one power, maintain your center, choose peace over irritation while stuck in traffic or standing in a long line, imagine how much more anchored and effective you'll be when faced with a genuine crisis or a significant personal challenge. These small daily initiations are actively preparing you for larger demonstrations of your mastery.
Practice makes permanent.
They ensure your spirituality isn't something compartmentalized, something that only happens on a meditation cushion or during a retreat or in a crisis. It becomes deeply integrated into every aspect of your existence, a lived reality.
So don't underestimate the power of the everyday stuff. Do not underestimate the power of consistent, humble practice in daily life. Every time you consciously choose patience over irritation, compassion over judgment, or gratitude over complaint, you are actively ushering in the new earth frequency, the energetic signature of unity and peace.
We're co-creating it moment by moment.
You are proving, through your very being, that enlightenment isn't some distant destination in the future. It is a way of being that you embody right here, right now, moment by moment.
This expanded view, it naturally brings us to think about how societal structures have historically operated, doesn't it?
It does. The macro reflects the micro, and vice versa.
For eons, various institutions on our planet, political, religious, economic, they seem to have, maybe inadvertently sometimes, thrived on keeping humanity stuck in that two-power mindset.
How so?
Well, governments often rally people by identifying external enemies to fear, right? Media outlets sensationalize conflicts, tribalism to keep us hooked on the drama. Even some traditional religious teachings emphasize a devil to be battled or a distant savior to passively wait for.
Keeping the focus external.
Exactly. All these narratives, in their own ways, keep that idea of divided power alive. Because, maybe quite simply, it makes humanity more controllable.
Explain that connection.
When people believe power is out there, residing in external forces, whether they see them as good or bad, they often forget the immense creative power within themselves. And that makes them easier to influence, to manipulate.
They give their power away by believing it resides elsewhere.
Precisely.
And this is where we uncover what some might call the ultimate secret. The real disclosure, if you will.
Okay, I'm listening.
Power has never truly been divided at all. The infinite source, the fundamental reality of existence, is an indivisible unity. Every single being is an expression of that one source.
Power is one, indivisible.
The great misunderstanding, the foundational lie, is believing that power can be split into warring camps of light and dark, as if two equal forces are perpetually vying for control.
The core illusion again.
Yes. Now, in the relative illusory world, there appear to be temporary imbalances, conflicts. But they only persist because the collective belief in two powers, the collective fear, the division, energizes them, gives them substance. The moment a critical mass of individuals withdraws that belief, awakens to oneness.
The illusion collapses.
The entire illusion collapses. Its foundation is removed.
So what about things like the deep state or oppressive systems people fear?
The supposed might of the deep state, or any oppressive system, is ultimately fueled by the very minds that fear it, by the energy of collective belief in its power, its separation from truth.
Our fear fuels it.
You disarm the powers of manipulation and deception, not by engaging in counteraggression, not by fighting them on their own dualistic terms, but by enlightenment, by radiating truth, by remembering oneness.
Enlightenment as the weapon, or rather the dissolving agent.
Exactly. As you and others awaken to the one power, the influence of those old control mechanisms will naturally wither, like a shadow disappears in light. Think of Puppet Master, whose puppets suddenly realize their strings aren't real, or that they're connected to a higher benevolent force.
His control just evaporates.
Instantly. In the same way, the various systems that depend on humanity's misunderstanding of power will lose their grip as the light of awareness, of unity consciousness, spreads.
And you think this is happening now?
Already, this profound shift is underway. You see it everywhere if you look. People questioning narratives they once accepted blindly. Communities forming around shared higher principles. Individuals taking back sovereignty over their own minds, their own lives.
The awakening is palpable.
Continue to nurture this awakening in yourself and gently in others. Do not feed fear by obsessing over what the bad guys are doing. Instead, consciously put your attention, your precious energy, on strengthening the good, the true, the luminous within yourself and your immediate sphere.
Focus on the light, not the shadow.
The dissolution of the old control matrix is a natural byproduct of the rise of unified consciousness. As the one power becomes the living reality in more hearts, any power that attempts to oppose it simply dissolves. It lacks an energetic foundation. It can't survive in the light of unity.
In the midst of a world that often feels just, so full of noise and frantic energy, constantly demanding our attention, our reaction, what would be our greatest ally in navigating all this?
It might surprise you. The sources point to something seemingly simple yet incredibly potent.
Okay.
Stillness.
Stillness, that sounds passive.
It might initially seem like a passive stance, almost a retreat. But in truth, it is an act of tremendous active power.
How is stillness powerful?
When you consciously choose to pause, rather than react impulsively to external provocations, you actively step out of that raging stream of collective fear. You stand firmly on the solid ground of the present moment, in your inherent truth.
Creating space.
Yes. This simple act of not immediately engaging in the chaos, of creating deliberate inner space, allows the higher wisdom of Source to flow through you unhindered. In stillness, you become a clear conduit for the one power. Your perception isn't clouded by frantic human thinking, by ego's projections, or by those dualistic narratives trying to pull you in.
So stillness allows clarity.
Clarity and connection. Think of a skilled martial artist. They don't always meet force with force, right? Sometimes they win by remaining centered, yielding, allowing the opponent's aggression to exhaust itself. Your stillness works in much the same way. It lets the turmoil of the world spin around you without ever pulling you off balance.
You remain centered.
From this place of calm, objective observation, you can see situations more clearly for what they truly are. Intuitive guidance has the space to arise and be heard. Often, just by stepping back, by not reacting at once, you'll find that what seemed like an overwhelming crisis starts to resolve naturally. Or it reveals elegant solutions with minimal, aligned intervention needed from you.
So practice stillness daily.
Make a conscious practice of incorporating moments of stillness into your day, especially when you feel provoked, overwhelmed, or tempted to react. Even a few conscious breaths can recenter you in the truth of the moment, in your own being.
Like many retreats throughout the day.
Exactly. You might step outside just to gaze at the sky for a minute. Or close your eyes and feel the aliveness, the vibrant energy within your own body. These little pauses, they are not escapes from reality. They are strategic retreats into the fortress of your inner being, your sacred sanctuary.
The inner fortress.
Within that sanctuary, the clamor of the world cannot reach you. And from that sanctuary, you will emerge with far more effective energy, clearer insight, and inspired action to apply to any situation.
Stillness leads to better action.
Remember, the final battle isn't won by who makes the most noise or exerts the most force. It's won by who can hold the most light, who can maintain the deepest stillness. Stillness is the sword of the spirit. It cuts through illusion. It reveals the underlying reality of peace.
Stillness as a sword. Powerful image.
Each time you consciously choose calm presence over panic, rage, or frantic struggle, you are wielding that sword, demonstrating its power. You become a beacon of stability, of peace in a chaotic atmosphere. And in the profound silence you cultivate, the subtle voice of the divine can be clearly heard guiding you. In that guidance, every necessary action will arise at the perfect time, with far greater impact and less effort than any amount of frantic struggle could ever achieve. This is true mastery.
So after all these insights, understanding the internal shifts, the daily practices, maybe we should ask, what's the tangible result? What's the practical, real-world fruit of living this way? How does this deep inner work actually show up in your day-to-day life, beyond just, feeling peaceful sometimes?
Great question. It has to be tangible, right? The fruit of all these inner choices, these practices, a truly transformed life experience, one that you are consciously co-creating with Source.
How does it transform?
As you consistently remember the one power, as you steadfastly refuse to bow to the tyranny of fear-based appearances, you will unequivocally notice the outer circumstances of your life begin to shift. They shift into harmonious alignment with your inner state.
Well, keep me examples.
Challenges that used to linger or repeat endlessly or feel insurmountable, they resolve more swiftly. Or they simply fade away, having lost their energetic hold on you. Needs get met, often before you even consciously voice them. appearing as these beautiful, serendipitous synchronicities.
Things just work out.
The right people show up. The necessary resources appear. The perfect opportunities present themselves with uncanny, effortless timing. Your physical health, your vitality, can significantly improve as stress, fear, and that perceived struggle of duality release their grip on your body.
And relationships.
Relationships, personal, professional, that can heal, deepen, or sometimes gracefully realign, to beautifully reflect the profound peace, unity, and love you're cultivating within.
It sounds almost like magic.
It might seem like it, but it's not magic. It's not mere wishful thinking. It is the fundamental law of consciousness in action. What you hold to be true inside, what you consistently project as your inner reality, it manifests. It projects itself outwardly into your experience.
As within, so without.
Precisely. By living from the truth of oneness, from your divine essence, you invite that very truth to take tangible form all around you. Others might even remark, wow, you seem so lucky, or there's just this aura of calm, of grace around you.
They notice the shift.
In truth, it's simply the natural, inevitable outcome of aligning with the ultimate reality of Source. Discord has a hard time sticking to someone who doesn't provide it a hook of belief in separation. Supply flows easily to one who knows Source as their infinite, ever-present abundance. Healing manifests for one who realizes wholeness is their true, inherent nature.
And the inner state.
Perhaps most importantly, you experience an unprecedented depth of peace within yourself. A peace not dependent on outer conditions being perfect or conforming to your expectations, but a steady, unwavering undercurrent of trust, a profound knowing in the benevolent flow of life.
That deep, unshakable peace.
That peace is the surest, most beautiful sign that you are living in alignment with the one power, with your true self. And from that peace springs genuine joy, boundless creativity, and overflowing loving kindness that naturally blesses everyone you meet. Your life becomes a living testimony, proof that oneness isn't just a lofty, abstract idea,
But a real power.
a real, tangible power that produces real, transformative results in every aspect of your existence.
And this brings us, I think, to the climax, the culmination of this entire journey, the final, most profound insight. A revelation the sources say is so simple, and yet so utterly liberating.
Yes, the ultimate realization.
There was never a war at all.
Exactly. That's the punchline, if you will. The very idea that light could defeat dark implies that darkness was something substantial to begin with, an independent opposing force.
Which we've established it isn't.
But as we've explored, darkness is not a force. It's merely the absence of recognized light. When the light is consciously turned on, the shadows vanish, effortlessly, on their own, because they had no true substance to begin with.
So the victory isn't about winning a fight.
So the true victory for Earth is not one side triumphing over another in some battle. It is the collective realization that oneness has been the fundamental reality all along. Always present, always true.
What does that look like practically?
In practical terms, it means humanity awakens. Awakens from the nightmare of division. People stop seeing each other as enemies, as fundamentally separate. The illusion of us versus them just dissolves, like a bad dream upon waking to the clarity of dawn.
The need to fight disappears.
The need to fight, to conquer, to judge, to punish, to fear, all of that falls away. Because its underlying premise, the belief in separation, is seen as false, as never having been real in the first place.
So what takes its place?
A profound, palpable sense of unity, of shared being, of deep interconnectedness. Imagine the immense energy that was once spent on conflict, on struggle, on competition. Imagine it being redirected into boundless creativity, into deep healing, into collaborative evolution for the highest good of all. That, dear ones listening, is the new Earth reality awaiting on the other side of this magnificent shift in consciousness.
So victory isn't light beating dark.
It's about the light simply turning on in every heart, so brightly, so universally that what we once called darkness simply dissolves, is no more. It is the profound remembrance that we have always been and always will be, expressions of one love, one intelligence, one being.
We remember who we are.
As this truth dawns collectively, the old stories of struggle and strife, of heroes and villains, they'll feel like distant, quaint memories. Like lessons we learned, valuable lessons perhaps, but ones we no longer need to repeat because we've finally outgrown the framework.
So just to bring it all back, to recap for everyone listening, the final battle we're navigating isn't some external war playing out on the headlines.
No.
It's a deeply internal spiritual awakening to the profound truth of oneness. The external conflicts, the chaos we perceive, they're simply projections, vivid shadows on the screen of life, reflecting humanity's inner state of forgetfulness, our belief in separation.
Indeed, this is not the start of a traditional war. It is the profound heralding of a grand awakening. The tests, the challenges before you, they aren't designed to determine winners and losers. They're designed to catalyze an undeniable knowing within each soul.
A knowing of unity.
Each of you, each soul listening, will make that profound choice. Continue in the dream of duality, or consciously open your eyes to the living reality of unity. The earth is already being baptized, cleansed, upgraded in this powerful realization, even now. As you hold fast to the truth of the one power, you become a conscious midwife to the birth of a new world.
So the focus shouldn't be on fighting.
So do not concern yourself with defeating anything external. Concern yourself above all with knowing the one power so deeply, so intimately, that nothing can ever make you forget it again. That unwavering consciousness that is your ultimate shield and your deliverance.
Let a result.
You will find that as you consistently abide in this awareness, every shadow of fear, every conflict, every appearance of lack simply melts away in your presence, because you're no longer giving it your energy and your belief. This is the peace that surpasses all understanding, the fruition of all your soul seeking throughout lifetimes.
The final victory, then, in the end, it's a quiet one.
Very quiet. Internal.
It arrives not with fanfare or explosions in the sky, not with some dramatic battle, but with the gentle, undeniable dawning of light in the human heart. It's the victory of truth recognizing itself. It's source knowing itself through its creations. It's love casting out fear simply by being what it is. This victory, this ultimate realization, is assured. Because in reality, at the level of timeless truth, it has already occurred.
Time is merely the unfolding of its recognition in your human experience. It's time now to fully step into the knowing of the light's victory. For the days of duality, of the illusion of two powers, they are truly numbered. The ascension of humanity, this grand awakening, is well underway. The testing time draws to its magnificent close.
The new Earth is already here, in a sense.
The Earth, in its higher aspects, is already radiant on a higher frequency timeline where oneness unequivocally prevails. Many of you listening have glimpsed this reality, this peaceful future, in your meditations, your dreams. Hold fast to that vision. Live from it now as best you can, in every moment, and know that by doing so, you are actively collapsing the span of time between the now and this inevitable glorious dawn.
Wow.
You stand firm in the one power, dear friends, and do not be swayed by the transient storms of illusion. The final battle is won by yielding completely, unequivocally, to the light that you already are. In that ultimate surrender, you discover that you and the infinite have always been one and the same. Victory was never in doubt, because love's the only outcome possible. We are with you always in unity and strength and in the everlasting light of Source. Onward to the new dawn, beloved family of Earth.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Until next time, take care and have a wonderful and blessed day.